Hi, I'm Alice. Let's discuss about Excel. Excel spreadsheet has been an essential part of our day-to-day work. Usually, we only focus on its basic function and haven't explored its full potential. In this video, we will be focusing on how we can use Excel to our advantage. Our goal is to help you improve your basic Excel skills, which will allow you to cut your processing time and increase your efficiency. Here are the list of topics we have prepared for you. Click on the subject you want to learn more. Shortcut keys. First, we will learn about shortcut keys that are commonly used in our work. If you already know some of these shortcuts, take this as an opportunity to refresh your knowledge. Come on, let's start. Excel shortcut keys were designed for faster and easier work in MS Excel spreadsheet. There are a lot of shortcut keys available when you search in Google. But let's focus only on those which are proven to be beneficial for both PSU voucher examiners and FMC employees. Let's get familiar on using the Alt key. Excel shortcut keys generally start by pressing the Alt key. So once you press it, you will see shortcuts or in fact an alphabet of hotkeys for each tab of the ribbon. Like F is for File, H is for Home, N is for Insert, P for Page Layout, and so on. Press the letter in which the desired command is included and the next level of shortcut keys will appear. For example, press N, which is the insert function, so all the insert commands in the ribbon will open up with their own shortcut keys. If you always use a certain command, we recommend not using the mouse to navigate. Instead, try using its own shortcut key. It will make a big difference in the way you work and improve efficiency as well. Let us show a simple example to explain the use of Alt plus the shortcut key using the filter command, which is often used in most data provided in Excel. Basically, the filter command can be done by using the mouse to highlight the table you want to filter. After highlighting the table, under the Home tab, click the Sort and Filter button on the upper right part of the Excel. A drop-down menu will appear, then click Filter. For shortcut, highlight the table you want to filter. Then, press Alt, A, T. You can see that the columns will instantly have filters. For example, let's filter and sort some data. For shortcut, if you want to clear all the filters, simply press Alt, A, C. Other than the Alt key, there are other shortcut keys that are using the Control or Shift key and the function keys of the keyboard. Here are some of the commonly used shortcuts. Summing up rows and columns can be done by using the sum formula. You start by manually typing the sum function. Then, select the cells you need to sum up and press Enter. For shortcut, to quickly sum up rows and columns, press and hold Alt =, for AutoSum. Using the mouse, you can edit the accounting format by clicking the comma button under the Home tab. The buttons beside this can be used to add or deduct decimal places to the selected cells. For shortcut, select the cells containing the data, then press Alt, H, K. If you want to add decimal places, press Alt, H, 0. On the other hand, to deduct decimal places, use Alt, H, 9. Using the mouse, you can select the entire column or row by clicking the column letter or the row number. To select the entire column, just hold down the Control key and press Space bar. For selecting the entire row, hold the Shift key and press Space bar. Using the mouse, you can hide a column or row by right-clicking the column letter or row number. Then select Hide. For shortcut, to hide a column, select the column, then press the Control key, 0. To hide a row, select the row, then press the Control key, 9. Using the mouse, you can add a column or row by right-clicking the column letter or row number. Then select Insert. For shortcut, to add columns or rows, select the column or row, then press and hold Ctrl-Shift plus sign. To delete columns or rows, select the column or row, then press and hold Ctrl minus sign. To edit the contents of the cell, simply click the F2 key instead of using the mouse to double-click the cell and edit the contents. In line with this, if you want to start another line inside the cell when editing, just press and hold Alt plus Enter. Instead of clicking a single cell and using the F2 key to check the formulas of your worksheet, you can just click Ctrl, tilde key to show all the formulas within the worksheet. With these sample shortcut keys, it will help you improve your efficiency. Now, let's move on to the basic Excel functions commonly used by voucher examiners.
Hey there, this is Daisy. Join me in learning the commonly used basic Excel functions for voucher examiners. First, let's start with learning what function is. Function is a predefined formula that performs calculation using specific values in a particular order. Common functions can be used to quickly find sum, average, count, maximum and minimum value for a range of cells. To use functions correctly, we need to identify first the parts of a function and how to create arguments in order to calculate values and cell references. First, a function must be written in a specific way which is called syntax. A basic syntax for a function is composed of three parts: equal sign, function name. Example, sum, average, or maximum. And the argument, the cell references which contain the information you want to calculate. Let me show you on how to access the list of functions in Excel. Go to Formulas tab, then click the Insert function. To view all the functions, hit the drop-down menu and choose All. Now that we know how to access the functions, let's now proceed with the round function.
Round.
The Excel round function rounds numbers to specify number of digits. In instances that POS does not allow decimal to convert currency, the round function can be applied. To use a round function, start with the equal sign, followed by the function name and an open parenthesis. Then, type the cell location where the original data is listed, followed by a comma, and the number of decimal places you want to round. Round is useful in eliminating the decimals for POS with small currency values. Voucher examiners can utilize this function when processing payments for the said POS. Let's proceed to the next topic, the sum function.
Sum.
The sum function adds all numbers in a range of cells. This is the most frequently used function in Excel. It is an accurate way of calculating instead of manually computing the total amounts. To use the sum function, start with the equal sign, followed by the function name and an open parenthesis. Then, select the range of cells with numerical values you need to add. For vouchers with multiple invoices, a computation in Excel using the sum function is added in the package for the verification of the total payment. This is also beneficial for the certifying officers in cross-checking if the computation is accurate.
SUMIF.
The SUMIF function adds all the numbers in a range of cells based on the supplied criteria. If you have to get the total amount for a certain item from a document with multiple entries, SUMIF function can be used. The syntax for SUMIF function is equals, SUMIF, then range, criteria, and SUMRange. The range is the group of cells where the function will search. The criteria is the value that is compared with the data in the range. If a match is found, then the corresponding data in the SUMRange is added up. Actual data or the cell reference to the data can be entered for this argument. SUMRange is the data in this range of cells is added up when matches are found between the range and the criteria. Here we have the data for the March 2019 photocopy services as a sample. We will be using SUMIF to get the total photocopy expenses per serial number. First, we start with the equal sign, followed by the function name, and an open parenthesis. Then, type the range of cells to search in finding the specified criteria. Next, type the cell reference which has the criteria. And type the SUMRange. You may use some if in summarizing the total cost per property of certain expenses like gardening services. Instead of adding the charges manually, this function allows you to summarize the cost incurred to that particular property. This is also applicable to other recurring services such as janitorial and maintenance services. For our next topic, we have the concatenate function.
Concatenate.
Have you ever experienced having to combine two or more cells in Excel manually? Did you know that you can use a function to merge these cells? The concatenate function combines or joins together two or more separately located objects in a new location, with the result of being treated as a single entity. In Excel, concatenation generally refers to combining the contents of two or more cells in a worksheet into a third. Let us demonstrate the use of concatenate from our sample data of utility payments. As you can see, this spreadsheet contains a lot of raw data that we would like to combine to create a uniform description. Posts that require specific description for their payments usually provides an Excel spreadsheet that contains the data needed, but presented separately. You may use concatenate to combine the data from different cells to create the description required. Voucher examiners can copy from the worksheet instead of manually typing the description in RFMS. To use concatenate, always start with the equal sign, followed by the function name concatenate and an open parenthesis. Then, enter the arguments. These arguments tell the concatenate function what cells to combine. Type B2, followed by a comma, then C2. To put a space or comma, or any other details to appear in the cell in between, add a space or comma to the formula with quotation marks around the single space. You may also use ampersand to combine cell data. Concatenate function is used by voucher examiners for the following situations. 1. Reports downloaded from RFMS contains parts of the fiscal data presented in different columns. If you have to present the fiscal data in a single line, you can use concatenate to combine these multiple cells. 2. To combine description for payments of leases, manual travel cards, and utilities. Now you already know how to combine different cell data using the concatenate function or the ampersand. Let us move on to the next topic, text to columns.
Text to column.
It can be difficult to work with a lot of text in a single column, especially if you want to use formulas to work with specific parts of that text. And while there are some complex formulas that will help you split your text into new columns, it can take a long time and not work that well. That's where text to columns comes in. Text to columns feature is very useful to split a list of multiple columns in Excel. This method is about how to split data by specify delimiter with text to column feature in Excel. Let's move on to the sample for fuel purchases where you download a copy of the transaction report from the vendor's website. The file would be downloaded in Excel format, but you still have to do further document cleanup for it to be readable. Let me show you how. Select the column list you want to split by delimiter and click Data, then Text to Columns. Then, a Convert Text to Columns wizard dialog pops out. Check the Limited option and click Next button. In the opening Convert to Text to Columns wizard, Step 2 of 3 dialog box, then choose the delimiter you need to split the data by. In this case, we will select the delimiter, which is the comma. You will also be able to see the result from the preview below the dialog box. Click on Next and then Finish. Now you can see the column list in selection has been split into multiple columns by the specified delimiter. When converting a different file format to Excel, the data is not readily usable. You would have to perform data cleanup or manipulation using text-to-column function before you can work on it.
Hello there, I'm John. In this video, we will be showing you the two powerful features of Excel that will allow you to create and summarize reports from a large set of data in just a few clicks.
VLOOKUP.
Lookup tables are also used extensively to validate input values by matching against a list of valid or invalid items in a series of data. If you find yourself frequently needing to consult a table to find the same data, you'll probably want to learn how to use VLOOKUP, short for vertical lookup. VLOOKUP takes advantage of vertically aligned tables to quickly find data associated with the value the user entered. For this scenario, we will be using VLOOKUP to compute for the fuel purchases per agency based on the fleet card number. First, click the cell where you want the VLOOKUP formula to be calculated. Second, start entering the formula to get the cost of fuel per agency of each fleet card on the master list. =, VLOOKUP, and the lookup value for this case, it will be the fleet card number. After entering the lookup value, go to the raw data file and choose the table array. For this case, it will be from column B, fleet card number, to column D, agency. Once the table array is chosen, you will need to count the number of columns. For this case, there is a total of 3 columns. After entering the number of columns, put a comma, then 0. Copy and paste the formula to the rest of the items. For the sample discussed, we use 0 or false argument as the range lookup to find the exact match, since this is what we usually use in voucher processing. If you want to find the approximate match, you would have to use 1 or true argument. Let me show you another example using 1 or true argument. Let's find the discount percentage based on the purchased amount. VLOOKUP, open parenthesis, F4, comma, C1, colon, D16, comma, 2, comma, 1, and close parenthesis. Copy and paste the formula to the rest of the purchase amount. Based on the sample demonstrated, we don't get discount for the purchase amounting to 450. To be able to get a discount, the purchase amount should be at least P500, as shown on the discount table and so on. Please be reminded, before using VLOOKUP, you must have a clean data on your Excel table, and the exact match of your lookup value is in the first column of the table array. No extra spaces and special characters, or basically, it should be an exact match of your lookup value. Also, the lookup value should be the most unique entry from the Excel table. Furthermore, it only captures the first match it finds, regardless of the possible matches. Let us move on to the other powerful feature of Excel, the pivot table.
Pivot.
A pivot table summarizes data in another table. It can automatically sort, count, total, or average the data stored in one table or spreadsheet. Displaying the results in the second table, the pivot table showing the summarized data. Here we have a sample spreadsheet for newspaper subscriptions. Using pivot table, we will be able to make reports based on what we need. For this example, let us make a summary report of newspaper subscription payments per agency. Let's begin. Step 1. Click Insert tab and select Pivot Table. A dialog box will be prompted. No need to change the pre-selected options. Just click OK then a new worksheet will be populated. Step 2. Click Options, then on the Display tab, tick the classic pivot table layout and click OK. Under the pivot table list, you may choose which field you will use for creating your report. In this example, drag and drop the agency and fiscal data field into the raw labels area and the amount on the values area. To hide the subtotal per agency, click the field settings, and on the subtotals and filters tab, choose None, and then OK. The sum of a particular value will be calculated by default, but you can easily change this to something like average, maximum, or minimum, depending on what you want to calculate. If you want to know the cost of subscriptions per week, just drag and drop the week field to the column labels area. You've now learned the basics of pivot table creation in Excel, but depending on what you need your pivot table for, you may need to use other Excel functions. For example, you may notice that the data in your pivot table isn't sorted the way you would like. If that's the case, Excel's sort function can help you out. Alternatively, you may need to incorporate data from another source into your reporting. Mainly, pivot table is used for creating reports. It allows you to tailor the report depending on what you need, and it provides you an easy and accurate way of collating the data. Hope you enjoyed watching the video. Do you want to practice what you have learned so far? Kindly proceed to the exercises we have prepared for you.